phase 5 of my U.S. soccer mandate that will take effect, at least planning to, after the 2026 FIFA Men's World Cup. Directly after, I'm Kyle Wilson, the Angry Soccer Guy, and this video is the final phase of the 5-step process to bring actual change to U.S. soccer with our mandate. So in this video, we're going to be discussing parent education. So we've gone through, very quickly to highlight, 5 immediate impactful changes to grow the game the right way and meet the players at their level and players by youth. After the 2026 World Cup, we've talked about 1 through 4. Now we're at 5, parent education. Okay, now just very quickly about myself. I have been through every single level of U.S. youth soccer, top to bottom, the whole way through the process, including the highest levels and the lowest levels. So recreational, travel, competitive, and then DA. Then I went into college. So I played Division II college. I played semi-professionally in Europe, which means I was paid to play. I was making like 300 euros a month, so it's nothing. And then I represented the United States men's national team in the 2019 AMF Futsal World Cup. Okay, so that was probably the best experience of my life. And then I've been fortunate enough now to train professional players, many from Orlando City, one guy that's won the Champions League, the Premier League, and the European Championship with Portugal, who played with Cristiano Ronaldo. I've even trained the generational talent, Kawan Bazil, who is the biggest talent coming out of Brazil, and he has a Nike contract worth $3.5 million. So I've done a lot of different things, and I don't have every single answer, but this is my mindset, my process here to help change soccer in this country. So hopefully you guys have the buy-in or at least some ideas with it, and hopefully you'll find value from this video. Okay, so we're going to be discussing parent education, and this is my personal opinion before I take you through it. I believe the system has gotten to this point because parents are uneducated. You might not like me saying that, I understand, but I think about my parents. Had I gone through the system today as it is, for sure we would have been completely screwed, and I would not have made it to the position I did, the levels that I did, and be able to provide content like I do if I was born in this generation, because there's so much BS out there. Example, 26 youth competitive leagues in Florida. What? Like, that's absurd, obviously. Okay, so just understand that the whole system has arrived to this point as of 2024-2025 season due to the fact of uneducated parents. I truly believe that it's because of parents. And if you think about it, there's a new league popping up. There's more FOMO happening. Like, they have pre-ECNL teams and pre-MLS Next teams at U11. You don't think that gets people excited to want to go to ECNL and MLS Next? But if or what your league, the league that your child plays in, literally doesn't matter until they're 15 and older. As long as they're being developed, you find a coach that cares, and they're being challenged, the league doesn't matter. Because nobody's getting a college scholarship or a professional contract until they're 15 years and older in 99.9% of cases. Unless you are a generational talent, then something else could happen. Okay, but otherwise the league and what they play and what they do doesn't matter. When I was a young player, growing up in Nova, so Northern Virginia, so I'm from right outside DC, there were 2 leagues, and now in Florida alone, there are over 26 competitive youth soccer leagues. So when I grew up, there were 2 leagues. 2 competitive leagues with promotion and relegation in the youth league. And now in the landscape today, just in Florida where I live in Orlando, there are 26 youth competitive leagues. Like, that is mind-blowing to think about. Okay, educated parents are informed. Spend less and don't fall for the traps of FOMO and the badged organizations using exposure as their key buzzword. So I saw a post, and I did a video about it previously, about an organization that highlighted that they had invited 156 college coaches. Well, just to be clear, invited could be, I just sent an email. I don't actually expect them to come. Attending means they're actually coming. But what happens is you guys think that that's like, wow, they invited 156. They're going to all be there. No. In fact, maybe none of them went. I don't know. Maybe all of them went. I don't know. But those are words that they're using, 156 invited. You go, wow, like, that's exciting. But you don't actually know what they're bringing. Okay, so just understand that. So this is what we're going to be discussing today from the U.S. Soccer Mandate, because literally education is key in this process, and parents, you guys hold the dynamic. Like, I need you to understand that piece. And I'll talk about the Utah Youth Soccer Association thing that happened, where they were looking to make an amended rule change that basically said if a child participated a child that is registered under Utah Youth Soccer Association played in a non-sanctioned event, so outside of their banner, then they could be suspended for an entire year. Well, enough people jumped on that bandwagon to cut it, and so it stopped, and they came out with another thing saying, hey, we've tabled this for a future date, whatever. So because of enough interest from people and enough support, it cut in 72 hours. That's why I keep telling you guys, like, parents, you can change the entire landscape if you wanted to. If you decided to not, and I mean all of you, said, you know what, we're not going to play club, we're stepping out, this is BS, all the clubs would have to change. But because you guys are all going to sign within 24 to 48 hours because you fall for the BS, well, you've just screwed yourself, and it continues the same mayhem over and over again. Okay, and we're going to touch on a couple of things here in a moment. Now, looking at this, this is probably the most important piece. Okay? Even if parents like yourself don't want to agree to accept it. Why? Well, you are the freaking customer. You are the one paying. You're the one saying, you know what? I'm giving you money for my child to play. And then they're taking that money, they're receiving those funds and doing whatever they want with it. Paying coaches, paying fields, put it in their bank account, laughing to the bank, whatever. Right? They're doing that, okay? But you are the one that is paying for the service of your child to play. So you can control this. And we've allowed it as parents. I'm not a parent yet, but we've allowed it as parents to get to this point. That is simply because, my humble opinion, uneducated parents, right? I have spoken to many parents that are educated, that have heritage, that understand the market and understand what's happening in the system. And they go, I would never fall for half this stuff. You're right. You wouldn't, because it's ridiculous. Because you're educated. You understand. So I'll give it to you like this. A MLS first team coach of one of the first team in MLS, I'm not going to say the name or the club or anything, called me. He said, Kyle, I need to talk to you because your content is unbelievable. I'm like, okay. He's like, everything you're saying about the system is literally true. This is coming from a coach of an MLS team, the pro team. And he's like, I see it every single day with my 6 or 7-year-old son. I don't remember if he was 6 or 7. And I'm like, I know. He was like, he's like, I haven't decided yet, but I'm considering taking my son back to our home country because the system is way better there than it is here. And I'm like, I know. And if you want to do what's in the best interest of your son, get the hell out. It's like people always ask me, Kyle, what should I do? Should I stay here? Is there a pathway? No. If you have any means to get out of the country, get out of the country. Go to Europe. Go to South America. See what real football looks like. That's just my personal opinion. Okay, so just understand those dynamics. Now, first step. You need to realize pay to play is not going to go away anytime soon and change the mentality of pay to play to pay to learn. I've already talked about this briefly, so I'll kind of, quickly summarize it for you. Okay, FIFA president comes out and says pay to play needs to end. Cool, not going to end. MLS has too much control. MLS are the ones that can change the whole thing. They won't do it because of the dynamic with the franchise model that they have. So you have to buy a franchise at $300+ million. You're not going to give that up because you want to make sure you keep if you're a businessman, you're not giving it up because you don't want to lose money on your business. You want to make money. So just understand that dynamic. So if you're a parent, an uneducated parent goes to a pay to play. An educated parent goes to pay to learn. Pay to learn means they're setting their child up for the future, right? They're going to be developing, they're going to be preparing, and they're going to be providing experience for the future of their child. That's what an educated parent's going to do. Pay to learn. Now, look at it this way. If I had a kid, I don't have a kid yet, but if I did, I am paying for my child to experience the game, deal with other adults, so like coaches, players, teammates, fail, progress, struggle, laugh, grow, deal with challenges. So long story short, I'm going to be paying for personal development. I want to see my child improve. Life preparation, to be better prepared for life, because when they turn 18, they're going to have to go on their own. They're going to go to college. They're going to go into real life. They're going to get a job. They're going to move out. Whatever. They got to be prepared for life. Okay? An experience to be a better person. Well, especially for me, this is me personally. I'm going to swear here in a second. I want my kid to be an asshole on the field. And by asshole, I mean like dominant. So you could change the word, whatever verbiage you want to use. But then a great guy off the field. So when you cross the white line, you step onto the field, you're there to win. When you step off, humble, respectful, joyful, good person, right? But when you're on the field, you're a warrior. You're there to kill or be killed because it's competitive, right? That's what we want to cheat. That's what we want to create. I said cheat. I meant create. Sorry. Now, notice I haven't even talked about wins or losses. So I didn't say he's there to win. Oh, he's there to lose. No, it's a part of the process. Winning and losing is a part of the process. Now, what's interesting is, I'm going to tell you guys now if you're paying attention, it's pretty funny. My dad found the Jefferson Cup trophy that I won in 2003. So 21 years ago, my dad found the trophy from the Jefferson Cup. He's going to give it to me, and I'm going to show you guys how important this trophy was to me. That's a joke. It's not. So I have the trophy, or my dad has it. I'll get it from him in the near future. And it's from 2003. We were champions of Jefferson Cup, whatever the top division was called. I don't remember. I have the picture. I can show you. I'll post it later. But that's when I was U10. I think I have one memory from when I was U10. Like one. Like, I just remember being in the final. I'm 99.9% sure we won the final on a penalty kick, or penalty kicks. I don't remember 100%, that's why I said 99.9%, but I'm almost positive we won the final on penalty kicks. Okay, so just recap this. Looking for growth, which is a process, not an outcome. I'm looking for the process, not the outcome. The outcome would be wins or losses. The outcome literally doesn't matter until they're 15 years old. Now, I'm not saying don't win. I'm not saying don't try to win. What I'm highlighting is, though, if they win or they don't win, it doesn't matter. And a ratio that is good for kids is 50-50, right? Win half the time, lose half the time, because you need to be humble when you win and gracious in defeat. I'm going to give you a quote from one of our staff. It was awesome. It was a really good quote. One of the kids we had at training was crying because he was losing. And so he said, I don't remember the exact wording, but I'm going to paraphrase it to you. He said, if you only ever win and you never lose, you will never fully value or understand when you win, like when you truly win, right? So when you lose, you feel pain, right? You lose, it hurts. When you lose, you either say, I quit, I don't want to do this anymore. You say, you know what? I'm not going to accept that. I'm going to get back on my horse. I'm going to win next time. And that might be the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time. So you won't feel the real value of winning until you've actually learned to lose. So you win, you lose. If you only win, you won't feel the real value of winning until you lose and then have to win. Okay, so let's keep this moving. Okay, wins and losses are literally a part of the business. You have to go through them. Now, I made another video before. Using my recent tournament example from the video, on average, you have a 25% chance of making it to a final to win a trophy. So just to quickly recap, we go to a youth tournament, right? We're in a bracket of 4. We have one team and there's 3 other teams at a total of 4. Okay, we have a 25% chance just based on those numbers, because it's 1 out of 4, to win the tournament. Not a good odd, right? That's less than 50%. That means out of 4 tournaments, you should win 1 time, right? But then that doesn't even take into effect the level of the opponents, the level of your team, which then can skew those numbers slightly, right? Maybe you go up to 50%, or maybe you go down to 5%. Whatever it is, the probability will change once you account for the levels of the team, right? Your team might be above, the other teams might be above. You got to deal with those type of circumstances, and the probability changes. Now, like I just mentioned, that's 1 tournament final every 4 events, or 1 tournament win, because you have to go to the final first to win, every 4 events on average, just based on the probability, the math out of 1 of 4. So just understand that winning should not be a guarantee from the jump. Now, here's interesting. People always send me DMs, or they ask me messages. I try to respond to everybody, okay? I get a lot, so I don't do it very well all the time, but I try the best that I can, okay? I have currently put out almost 80,000 hours worth of educational content, 100% free. You go to my YouTube channel, you watch these lives, I transfer them to my YouTube channel, I transfer them to my podcast, I transfer them to TikTok, I bring them everywhere, right? So there's no excuses. Like, people ask me, hey, do you have any footwork training that I can do at home? Sure, go to my YouTube channel. You can look for the 2,500 touch challenge. Hey, I don't know how to do college recruiting. How do I do that? Cool, go to my YouTube channel. It's there, an entire course that you can access for free, top to bottom, from freshman year to senior year, that you can get for free. So there's no excuse. As long as you do it, you'll know how to get to college. Okay, I mean, there's so much stuff, man. I mean, there's so many more things I could talk about, but I'm trying to summarize for it. Point is, it's all free. I made the decision for it to be free because a lot of the content needs to be free so you can be educated. And I'm giving you all of my knowledge and experience for free because the impact that I want to make. Okay? I have so much more stuff planned. That's why you're seeing content like this. and it will continue to be delivered, right? So like I've been posting a lot more longer form content for people that are really interested in wanting to learn. And that's what all this is. And I have a lot more coming as well. Now, if your child has a desire of playing anything more than recreational soccer in the future, recreational means they want to play for fun. They're there to just play for fun. They're not trying to be serious. Okay, so I'm going to show you in a second the 9 immediate actions I would take as a parent to make sure I'm fully educated prior to stepping into competitive or higher levels of play. Okay, and this is ideal if you have like zero experience or a little bit of experience, or even if you're even if you played college, but you weren't really developed, because there's a lot of players that played college that weren't developed in terms of like the correct skill, the way to play, the form, philosophies, principles, all that, then this is going to be really important for you, and I'm going to show you exactly what to do right now. Okay? So there will literally be no excuses. So I call this my 9-step parent education framework. Must watch ASAP. You can also listen to this. You can also sometimes download the documents. Okay, so first one. We look here. New parent blueprint. Let's say your child wants to play competitive. Okay? Child wants to play competitive. You don't know anything about it. I've put together an entire framework. I think it's like 30 minutes in total, which is called the New Parent Blueprint. Right? You can see everything you need to see, everything you need to do, and it will take you to a completely different level because I walk you through, and the example I actually give is interesting. I present it like I am doing basketball with my kid. So my son comes to me and says, Dad, I want to play basketball. Well, to be completely honest, I don't know anything about basketball. I know nothing about basketball. The only position I know, actually I know 2. I know center and point guard. That's it. I don't know any other position. So I frame it like that. Hey, I give you a scenario of me being a basketball parent. I don't know anything about it. And I flip it to you also on the soccer side. Hey, here are the things that I would look for. I would want to know. I'd want to do. Bam. Okay. Second thing I would go to immediately, and then I'll come back to all this in a second, would be the Youth Soccer Playbook. I have a boys edition and a girls edition. You can find this on my YouTube channel in a playlist called the Youth Soccer Playbook Boys Edition or Youth Soccer Playbook Girls Edition. Or you can go to my podcast, the Pro Journey Podcast. It's there as well where you can listen to it. Great. There's another one. Okay, third one, Core Soccer Skill Blueprint. So I've had parents ask me, I don't know what my son should be taught from a technical standpoint. I break down like 15 techniques that need to be taught from a skill perspective, including passing, throw-ins, dribbling, foot skills, whatever. I have 12 to 15 different frameworks in just this to develop core skill. Juggling is another one, okay? The next thing I would do would be immediately take the 3% Parent Blueprint or go through it. This is a course that I take you through that, and the best way to explain it to you is I literally sat down with my parents and they spent $82,593 on my youth soccer career alone. And I have a brother, by the way, so you can basically double that. So we're talking $165,000 on our youth soccer career. Okay, but what this is, the 3% Parent Blueprint, is the exact framework that my parents wish they knew before getting into the system. Because my parents had no background. They didn't know anything. They knew zero, zilch, nada. They were not athletic. They weren't sports people. They didn't know anything. So I worked with them to build this framework, this blueprint, to say, hey, you know what? How can we help other parents in the same type of situation with either little to no experience? Bam. That's when this blueprint came out. I walked through it with them multiple times. They gave me ideas. We went through it. They're like, hey, this is fantastic. They were like, Kyle, we wish we had this when you were kids. And I'm like, I know. That's why I built it. Okay, so next one is the 2% Parent Blueprint, right? These are additional frameworks on top of the 3%, okay, which are fantastic. And I give you a ton of great ideas with it. Okay, the next one is what I learned from 11,315 days being in U.S. youth soccer. This is a framework series. It's a playlist I have on YouTube now where it's like all the videos that you see me do as lives that I then translate to YouTube or to podcast are there. So if you ever missed one, they're all on YouTube in a playlist that's called this. What I learned from 11,315 days being in U.S. youth soccer. That equates to 18 years, by the way. Okay? You'll also find the framework in there for tryouts. So when you go to this playlist, you'll see it there, but you need to watch it separately anyways. But the point is, the tryout framework is how to not get ripped off at tryouts. So you'll hear people say 24 and 48 hours to sign to reserve your spot. It's BS. Now, some people might say, well, Kyle, you're lying because they'll do that. Cool. Then you don't want to go to that organization anyways. My humble opinion. So just understand that, okay? The next one, 7, Youth Soccer Value Calculator. Again, you can find this on my YouTube channel. What's awesome is you can actually plug in the numbers, your cost and whatnot, and see, are you getting, you can actually first determine your hourly rate, so how much you're spending per hour. And then what you can do is determine the considerations and bonuses. That allows you to see, are you gaining value from the investment that you're making in your child? So you're spending, quick example, you're spending $2,000 a year, okay? And then the considerations and bonuses allow you to see, are you gaining value? Which means you're getting like $4,000 compared to the $2,000 that you're spending. So you're actually gaining $2,000. Are you breaking even? Or are you losing money? And that way you can determine good, not good, terrible, okay? And then the last one, which hasn't actually even been released yet, it's done, but I haven't released it, is the 1% Parent Blueprint. So think of the 3%. The jump from a 3% to a 1% is absolutely insane. And if your child's like, Mom, Dad, I really want to be a professional, this framework will absolutely kill it for you. Okay? And it will really, like, I should rephrase this. The gap between the 3% to the 1% is absolutely nuts. So the content and information you're going to find in that one is going to go to, like, it's going to take you to a whole nother level. It's going to be crazy. So you need to understand the jump from being an average parent, which what I call 97%, so 97% to a 3% is big because now you're educated. But then to go from 3% to 1% is huge. Like, it's game changing. It will take your knowledge and the ability to help your child to a completely different level. So I'm going to give you crazy frameworks in that one. It hasn't been released yet, but it's insane what you get. So the 3% down to 2% and then the 1%. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, Kyle, what does this all cost? Well, if you're new to this or you've seen me before, I'm going to walk you through everything right now. Okay? First one, New Parent Blueprint, free YouTube channel. Okay? Youth Soccer Playbook, Boys Edition or Girls Edition. Just so you know, each one is literally an hour and a half. Okay? So I've done the boys and girls. They're about an hour and a half each. Those are free. Okay. Core Skills Soccer Blueprint, free YouTube channel. The first 3 YouTube channel. Okay. 3% Parent Blueprint. Here's where it gets tricky. I have a free version and I have a paid version. The free version is you look at me talking to you going through the course, right? Then I have a paid version where you earn an actual diploma called the 3% Parent Blueprint Diploma. If you need to see the presentation, you need to understand the presentation, you need to pass testing to help you improve your sideline etiquette, you want the documentation and bonuses that come with it, you're going to want to take this one and take the course. It's actually a course that you take, you pay for to get access to. If you don't want to pay for it, you can get it for free and you can just listen to it. Okay? But there's a whole bunch of goodies in here that you get. Like, for example, somebody told me that he would value the content of that one between $500 to $1,000, somewhere between that range. And I'm like, that's great, because he's like, there's so much good information. And like I mentioned, it's all the stuff that my parents, my own parents, that didn't have a dang clue to any of it, wish they knew they had previously. So you can access it for free, or you pay for the upgraded version. Okay? So, the 2% as well. Next one. What I learned from 11,315 days being in U.S. youth soccer. That's free. It's on YouTube. Kyle's Tryout Framework. Free on YouTube. Youth Soccer Value Calculator. Free on YouTube. Okay, and then the last one. The 1% Parent Blueprint. That will be paid, and there will probably be a free version as well that will come out when I'm ready to release it. Okay, so there's only 2 that you quote-unquote have to buy, but you can still get them all for free. And you can go in order. In fact, this is the order I would take. So if I were you, I would screenshot this, right? And then you can go search them all on YouTube, except for the 1% because it's not released yet. And then if you really want to pay for something to improve and get the education, watch the presentation, do what you need to do, pay for the 3%. Okay, but this is, I mean, if you can't figure out what to do with this stuff, and what's great about number 5 is I'm constantly adding content to it. So like this video that you're watching will be added as a content piece to this one. So, number 5, what I learned from 11,315 days being in USU soccer. Every time I do videos, it's going to be added as content pieces to this. It's going to be continuously a revolving door processes. So anytime I have longer form content that's parent education wise, it will go right here. Okay, so like this video you're watching, when I upload it, it will be added to this playlist. Okay, to YouTube. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, let's look at real quick an uneducated parent. So an uneducated parent is somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, doesn't know what they're talking about, right? They just fall for all the traps, FOMO, they fall for the badge, they fall for the marketing, all the schemes and whatnot, okay? So an uneducated parent spends more money, falls for the FOMO traps, fear of missing out, thinks the league matters. So what league your child plays in matters between 6 to 14 years old. Come on, Mama. Yeah. Sorry, my dog's looking at me like she wants attention. I don't want her to bark, okay? Then, so looking at 3 again, thinks the league matters between 6 to 14 years old. I've already told you the league doesn't matter between 6 to 14. It matters that you have development, a good coach that cares, and there's a challenge to your child. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense, right? Next one. People will find a club versus a coach. And I've heard this excuse. I'll say, well, why do you joystick on the sideline? And they say, well, my coach doesn't coach. Well, I go, well, whose fault is that? You're the one who decided to pay for it. So just eat it and be like, hey, I made a mistake, and then go find a coach. But parents love to make the excuse of, well, my coach doesn't coach and he hasn't done anything all season, or she hasn't done anything all season. You decided to pay for the club. You didn't find a coach. I can't keep reemphasizing that point. Okay? 5, and this is very important to understand. More than likely, you will not have a child reach the next level. There's a 90+% chance that your child will not reach the next level because you don't have football heritage. You don't know what to do. You don't know how to do. So if you don't have the processes in place, you don't have the education, how do you expect your child to actually get there? Don't believe what they tell you from the badges, because 95% of it is lies, or it's marketing to get you to think that you need to go there. It's not actually designed to help your kid. And you're going to say, well, Kyle's just angry saying that. You can call me angry. That's fine. I'll own that. But I'm just trying to provide you the reality and context. And there's not a lot of other people that's even producing content like this to actually help you. And what's crazy is it's all free. I just give it to you. So understand this. If you're uneducated, you will 100% spend more money. And using my parents as the framework, we paid for clubs or training or stuff that was I'm sitting back now looking at it and going, I don't know how much money my parents paid, but man, I wish they didn't. And it wasn't cheap. One of them was I went to the West Virginia University residency camp twice, or residential camp twice. It was $500 a piece twice. So that's $1,000 for a 3-night, 4-day camp, or maybe it was 2 nights, 3 days. And I didn't go to West Virginia University. We fell for the marketing gimmicks. I remember that one though, because I think I was a junior in high school. So I fell for them. And I'm trying to help you guys not fall for them, because you're going to spend money, but you want value on the money that you're spending. You don't want to be losing money. Okay? So I could go on this again, but just understand these 5 things. Take a picture if you need to. That's fine. Do what you need to do. Okay. Last part here. So you've heard me say this before, the cash cow, right? So I want to provide you the definition of what I call the cash cow, because people keep saying, well, you just say cash cow. What does it actually mean? And sometimes people have called me a cash cow. You can call me a cash cow too. That's fine. But let me give you the definition of what a cash cow is, okay? Or at least from my definition of it. A soccer organization that is no longer looking to provide new value to the marketplace and only to maximally monetize its audience or membership. I want to say that to you again to make sure you fully understand it. Take a picture if you need to. This is my definition of a soccer cash cow. So a soccer club, or it could be anything related to soccer. Doesn't matter if it's a club, a training center, whatever, but this is the definition of it. A soccer organization that is no longer looking to provide new value, so updated current value, to the marketplace, so to the community, and to only maximally monetize its audience and or membership. So they're not looking to bring anything new to the marketplace, better training, better facilities, whatever, better coaching. They just want to make as much money as possible without providing you guys new value, new service. That's what a soccer cash cow is. So they're just trying to rake in money, right? That's all they're trying to do. They're not trying to provide you new things or better things, like more, better, new. They're not trying to provide any of that. They're just trying to make money. So just make sure you understand that. And I'll give you a story real quick, okay? When was the last time your big club, aka your soccer cash cow, offered something for free? Critically think about this. When was the last time your soccer cash cow offered you something for free? And here's my story. So last summer, about a year ago, I ran 2 camps for free. The first camp, we had 25 kids, give or take. that participated, maybe 20. Okay. And we did it for free. There was no cost. I ran it, no charge. It was at our indoor facility, High Soccer Arena in Orlando. And then we did a second camp that had 106 or 105 players that participated. We opened up like a registration portal. 300 people applied. Okay. And 100 people were accepted, give or take 100. So let's just say, I think it was 105, 106. I don't remember the exact number, but you get the point. 100 at least. Okay. We're in the camp. 3 days. We brought in 5 coaches, including myself. We had to pay for our own facility because there's cost, lights, field, staff. You get the point. We probably lost about $3,000 in the 3 days from cost perspective. And the only thing that we asked for from that was, hey, provide us posts on social media saying that you support this if you want more of it in the future. 3 people did it. They put a post out, made a story, did something. And we're like, well, people don't really want free. And we even asked the question there, which was crazy. We said, how many of your organizations, like we had a big group, and we're like, how many of your organizations have provided something for free? And nobody, and this is all in Orlando, rose their hand. Not a single person rose their hand that said, my organization, my club, my this, nobody. I was like, wow. And that was after day 1. So we did it the first day. We brought everybody in. We explained. And we're like, hey, what do you guys think? Nobody rose their hand. And I'm like, wow. But I'm walking out of that, continuing this entire year, and I'm going, this is why we're stuck in this situation. People don't value free. They value paying a ridiculous amount of money for it. Truth is, you might be like, hey, Kyle, that's not true. Cool. My experience tells me that. You can say you don't. That's fine. But my experience tells me that people want to pay a lot of money. They want to feel important by playing for a badge. Like you ask kids, hey, where do you want to play? I want to play for MLS Next. Well, you do realize there's 2 versions of MLS Next, pay to play and Pro Pathway. So there's just all these marketing schemes and gimmicks and things that make you feel special versus actually developing the kid. And people fall for the traps all the time. And like using these events, it made me realize that people don't want free. They want to pay for a service, which is fine. But this is why pay to play exists in the sense that it does today. Okay, so I hope this makes sense. That's the last slide. This takes us through the entire framework. I'm going to put all 5 of these as well of the processes for the mandate, the U.S. Soccer mandate that I have on YouTube. It's going to be in a playlist that says U.S. Soccer Mandate 2026, something like that. Once it's all ready, I'll release it. And that way, if you guys want to go back and watch any of the 5, you can. Okay, so without further ado, guys, thank you so much. Please share this with somebody if you found value from it. And I greatly appreciate you. And you guys have a great night.